Hi everyone, welcome to Real English.
Where you learn natural English for real life.
Beps.
I am Paul.
And I am Emily. Let us get started.
Today, we are stepping into the modern creative studio. We are talking about a conversation that is happening in marketing departments and design agencies all over the world right now. It is the transition from traditional media to artificial intelligence.
This is a huge shift. Every creative team relies on visual assets. For years, the only way to get those assets quickly was to pay for massive, expensive stock photography subscriptions.
Exactly. You pay thousands of dollars a month, and you still end up using the same generic pictures of people pointing at laptops that every other company uses. But now, with AI image generation, creative technologists have the power to build custom assets instantly.
The technology is incredible. But here is the problem. If you are an engineer or a technical artist trying to convince your creative director to invest in local AI hardware, you cannot just talk about the software. You have to talk about the business transformation.
I see this happen so often. A brilliant tech artist walks into the director's office and says, "I want to build a computer with a massive graphics card so I can run Stable Diffusion locally and use Hi-as-Fix to make big pictures."
And the creative director hears that and thinks, "You just want an expensive toy to play video games on. Request denied."
Right. The director does not care about VRAM or algorithms. They care about asset quality, brand consistency, and the marketing budget. If you want them to buy you high-capacity hardware, you have to frame it as a financial and operational upgrade, not just a cool tech project.
And today, we are going to give you the exact framework to make that pitch. We are going to teach you how to ask for thousands of dollars in dedicated hardware by proving it will actually save the company money.
We call this framework the S.E.T pitch. S.E.T. If you use this, your director will stop seeing you as a tech nerd and start seeing you as a strategic partner.
Let us break it down. The S stands for scale. You do not start by talking about the computer. You start by talking about the volume of work. You need to highlight how many images the marketing team needs every week and how the current process cannot keep up.
You say, "Our content demands have scaled up massively, and hunting for stock photos is creating a severe production delay." You identify the pain point of scale.
Once they agree with the problem, you move to the E. E stands for economics. This is the most important part of the pitch. You have to compare the ongoing cost of their stock photo subscriptions to the one-time cost of your hardware.
You say, "We are currently spending $2,000 a month on stock photo licenses. If we bring this process in-house, the equipment pays for itself in less than a single quarter."
You immediately show them the financial win.
Finally, the T.
T stands for turnaround. Turnaround time is how long it takes to finish a task. Creative directors are obsessed with turnaround times. You have to prove that local AI makes the team faster.
You say, "By generating these assets locally, we can cut our visual turnaround time from 3 days to 3 hours.
Scale, economics, turnaround, the S.E.T method. It is a bulletproof way to pitch a technical upgrade to a non-technical manager. But to really command the room, you need the right vocabulary. Let us open up the toolkit with our 5 pocket words for today.
Word number 1 is a crucial noun for digital media, resolution. In images, resolution refers to the level of detail and clarity. You do not say, "The picture is very clear and big." You say, "We need the capability to generate high-resolution assets for our print campaigns."
Word number 2 is a fantastic business noun, bottleneck. A bottleneck is a point of congestion in a system that slows down the overall process, just like the narrow neck of a bottle slows down the water pouring out.
You can say, "Waiting for the external agency to send us the graphics is the main bottleneck in our current pipeline."
Word number 3 is a hyphenated adjective we have seen before, but it is essential here, in-house. It means conducting an activity within the company rather than relying on outside vendors.
You say, "My goal is to bring our entire visual generation process in-house. So we have total creative control.
Word number 4 is an advanced financial verb.
Amortize.
It means to gradually write off the initial cost of an asset over a period of time. When you buy expensive equipment, you talk about amortizing the cost.
You do not say, it is expensive now but cheap later. You say, the upfront cost of the server is significant, but when we amortize it over the year, it is a fraction of our current subscription fees.
And word number 5 is a very common tech verb. Iterate. To iterate means to repeat a process, making small changes each time to improve the final result. In design, it means making multiple versions until it is perfect.
You say, local AI generation allows us to iterate on a single concept 50 times in an hour without paying extra fees.
Resolution, bottleneck, in-house, amortize, and iterate. If you use these words, your pitch will sound incredibly professional. Now let us step into the Smooth It Out clinic to fix those awkward translations that kill a good presentation.
Let us start with the initial request. An ESL learner might walk up to the director and say, I want to buy a really strong computer to make AI pictures.
It sounds like a personal favor. We need to frame it as a business strategy. Smooth it out by saying, I would like to propose an investment in a dedicated local rendering workstation to upgrade our visual asset pipeline.
Beautiful. Now what about explaining the hardware itself? A learner might say, we need a 48GB graphics card because the software stops working if it is too small.
That is too deep into the technical weeds. The director only cares about the result. Smooth it out by saying, we require a high-capacity GPU setup to ensure we can consistently output the high-resolution 6:9 aspect ratio images the marketing team demands, without crashing.
That completely justifies the hardware using business requirements. Now the director might ask, why can't we just use cloud AI websites? Why do we need our own machine? A learner might say, because the websites make you wait in line and it is annoying.
We have to sound more strategic about time and privacy. Smooth it out, you say. Relying on cloud services creates a severe bottleneck due to server queues, and more importantly, bringing the hardware in-house guarantees our proprietary product data remains completely secure.
And finally, talking about the workflow. A learner might say, if I do it myself, I can change the picture a lot of times.
Let us use our new verb, smooth it out, by saying, local generation gives us the freedom to iterate endlessly on a campaign without worrying about exhausting cloud credits.
Excellent upgrades. It is time to put the S.E.T framework and all of our vocabulary into action. Let us move to the main event, the practice conversation.
The scenario is this. I am the creative director at a mid-sized marketing agency. Our client demands are growing rapidly, and we are spending a fortune on stock photography and external illustrators.
And I am the lead technical artist on Emily's team. I know that I can produce better, highly customized images using AI, but to do it at the quality the agency needs, I cannot use my standard office laptop. I need to build a dedicated AI workstation.
Specifically, Paul is going to ask for a top-of-the-line Windows machine equipped with a massive single GPU setup, specifically a 48GB RAM card. It is a serious financial request.
I know Emily is worried about budgets, so I am not going to talk about how fun it is to use Stable Diffusion Web UI Forge. I am going to talk about scaling our output, the economics of cancelling our stock subscriptions, and the lightning-fast turnaround times. I am walking into her office right now. Here we go. Hi, Emily. Do you have a few minutes? I wanted to review the production budget for the upcoming Q3 campaigns.
Hi, Paul. Sure, come on in. I actually was just looking at the budget myself. The photography expenses are getting out of hand. We spent almost $3,000 last month just on licensing stock images for the new tech client.
That is exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. The scale of our campaigns has grown, which is great, but our reliance on external stock libraries is becoming a massive financial and creative bottleneck. We are spending thousands of dollars just to get generic images that do not perfectly fit the client's brand.
I agree, it is frustrating. But what is the alternative? Organizing a custom photo shoot for every social media post is completely out of the question. We don't have the time or the budget for that.
We do not need photo shoots. I want to propose a permanent solution that brings our entire visual asset generation in-house. I am requesting the approval to build a dedicated, local AI workstation specifically configured for high-end image synthesis.
You mean using something like Midjourney? We already have a few accounts for that, don't we? It is okay for brainstorming, but the resolution is never quite right for our final print campaigns.
That is exactly the limitation of cloud-based AI. You are restricted by their servers. I am proposing we build our own local machine running an open-source architecture like Stable Diffusion, but to do that at a commercial level, we need specific hardware. I need to source a machine with a single high-capacity 48GB VRAM graphics card.
48 gigs? I am not an IT expert, Paul, but that sounds like server-grade hardware. That has to be a very expensive machine. Why do we need that much power?
It is all about resolution and aspect ratios. The marketing team constantly needs ultra-wide 6:9 banners for web design. Generating those native resolutions and then running a high-resolution fix algorithm to make them print-ready requires massive memory overhead. If we try to do that on standard machines, the system crashes. With this dedicated setup, we can batch generate dozens of print-ready assets in minutes.
Okay, I understand the capability. But Paul, a workstation like that has got to cost around $6,000 or $7,000 up front. That is a massive capital expense to drop in the middle of the year.
It is a significant upfront cost, Emily, but let us look at the economics. Right now, we are bleeding $3,000 a month on stock photo licenses. If we approve this workstation, I can transition 80% of our daily graphic needs to this internal server within a week. We can cancel our premium stock subscriptions entirely.
Cancel the premium subscriptions?
Yes. The hardware pays for itself in exactly 2.5 months. After that, we are saving over $30,000 a year. When you amortize the cost of the machine over its lifespan, it is actually the most financially responsible move we can make.
That ROI is very hard to argue with, assuming the quality is actually there.
The quality will surpass what we have now because of the turnaround time. Right now, if an art director doesn't like a stock photo, we have to spend 3 hours hunting for a new one. With this local server, we can iterate on a single design concept instantaneously. If the client wants the model wearing a blue jacket instead of a red one, I do not have to search a database. I just change the prompt, and we have a new high-resolution asset in 40 seconds.
Wait, 40 seconds? That completely eliminates our revision delays.
Exactly. We bypass the cloud queues, we keep all our proprietary client data strictly in-house and secure, and we give the creative team the ultimate freedom to iterate without worrying about per-image costs.
You have clearly thought this through, Paul. The economics make sense, and eliminating that revision bottleneck would make the account managers very happy. Put together the formal hardware quotation and a timeline for deployment. If you can guarantee we can cancel those stock subscriptions by the end of next month, I will sign off on the workstation.
Excellent. I have the component list ready to go. I will send the quotation to your inbox before lunch. Thanks, Emily.
End scene. Wow, Paul, you absolutely crushed that. I was ready to say no to the expensive hardware, but you boxed me in with pure business logic.
It is a very satisfying feeling. And notice how I structured the entire conversation. I did not start by begging for the graphics card. I used the S.E.T method. I started with the scale of our campaigns and the bottleneck of stock photos.
Then you moved to the economics. That was the turning point. When you told me we could cancel a $3,000 a month subscription, the $6,000 computer suddenly sounded like a bargain.
Exactly. You always have to show management how the technology saves them money. And then I closed the deal with turnaround. I explained how we could iterate in 40 seconds instead of waiting hours.
And you defended the hardware specs beautifully. When I asked why you needed the 48GB RAM card, you didn't talk about the software interface. You talked about the marketing team needing 6:9 banners and print-ready resolution. You connected the hardware directly to the team's daily needs.
That is so important. If you just list technical specs, management thinks you are wasting money. If you explain what those specs achieve for the company, they see it as an investment.
Your vocabulary was also totally on point. You used words like bottleneck, in-house, amortize, and iterate. It elevated the whole conversation. You sounded like a technical director, not just an artist.
That is the goal. For all of our listeners out there who are trying to integrate AI into your companies or asking for better hardware, take this script and use it. Stop apologizing for the cost of your tools and start proving the return on investment.
Frame your technology as a business solution, and you will get the sign-off every time. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio today for this episode of Real English.
Keep practicing those pitches, keep pushing the boundaries of your technology, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.